Welcome back, everyone, to Grinding Game. This is not a new episode. This is our developer direct reaction that we were talking about last episode. We just all watched it. We've all digested it. It's been about at this point about 7 hours since it showed. The boys and I have been talking about it, but let's not waste any time here. You know what I mean? Let's really think about this, because not only did the direct happen, something else really positive has happened for Mr. Lawless over there, with Mio currently giving him an 84-point lead on you and I, Nick. Granted, we don't have any games out yet, but Dave, you're currently number one right now. You're winning this year with Mio, but after that. Only issue is you didn't get the pottery game, so you're probably out. But no, but with the showcase that we just saw with Fable, and we'll talk on little positives, little negatives we all kind of felt on each thing. How are you feeling right now? How are you feeling, getting those points from Mio? And then I just want you to jump right into, what do you guys think? Should we save Fable for last, or should we go game?
Let's start with that. Why not? Because it kind of correlates to him getting points and all that.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. So yeah, like I said, talk about Mio a little bit. Jump right into Fable. Tell us what you were feeling.
Yeah, with Mio, I actually just fired it up again while I was waiting for you guys to hop on, and I was playing a little bit more. And these kinds of games normally wouldn't pull me in, but since I picked it on my roster, I had to go ahead and give it a try, and I was liking it so far. I think I've got a little over 2 hours logged on it, so not that much yet, but it's, from what we saw, it's only supposed to take about 10 hours to beat it, so it's still a decent chunk of the game I've gotten to see so far. And I got to say in the beginning, I don't know if you guys saw this, I was dying a lot, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Am I just getting too old? Why is this game so hard? But then I come to realize dying was part of the process a little bit, because what you're collecting while you're out there, every time you die, it refills the pool that you need to fill up. So that was kind of like the oh shit moment. I was like, it's okay to keep just go in, smack some enemies around, and then you realize you start to get the upgrades later. So for anyone out there who jumps in, don't be concerned like I was and think you just suck at the game. Like, you have to die a little bit to start getting some of the power ups later. But yeah, it's nice to be in the lead. By default, it's the first game of the year. We'll see. I mean, I might hold the lead the whole year, or this could be the only time I'm in the lead. We're going to see what happens with all these games dropping. But did any of you boys get a chance to get some hands on a little Mio Memories in Orbit?
If I was, I don't want to give spoilers away, but I think I've beaten at least two of I would say the main guys. And filled up the pool, like you said, got a little bit of the upgrades. I was really focusing on getting those you get modules, and you got a certain level you can put modules on for anyone that's listening. And then, but to Dave's point, if you die, you lose sake of your, let's say, souls, because it does have soul-like qualities, because if you die while you have all of them, you lose them, but not realizing it's filling up a pool to move you further in the game. So that was kind of a cool twist to learn, like you were just talking about. But yeah, so far so good. I'm enjoying it. It's, like you said, it's been a long time since I've really hopped into like a side-scrolling Metroidvania, so relearning that, doing a lot of the exploration, and it's pretty cool. I gotta say, I'm enjoying it so far, and I love the music. The music's really nice and really relaxing, as well as you're getting torn to pieces. That I don't know how many bosses you fought, but that second one I fought was absolutely mollywhopping me before I kind of figured out the pattern and everything. So
yeah,
Nick, you hopped in yet?
No, I haven't got a chance yet, but I'm definitely going to here over the weekend. I'm excited to play and get some games in, because even though Dave has the lead now, when Karen drops, I will take the lead. However, I don't think I'm going to play that game. So I'm definitely going to
No one will.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hop into it now. Something I have for y'all from the outside looking in was while I haven't played it, I did a lot of research on it, and a lot of, I guess, the negativity, which there isn't a whole lot of it, but where it is, centralizes around the combat, or I guess lack thereof, is what these people say. What are your guys' views? And start with Dave, and then Stan will go to you. But I mean, how is the combat?
Yeah, I know there's so many more upgrades and things that I need to find yet. So for me, it's a very base level. It's basically just hitting the same button 3 times to get rid of enemies. And then there's certain moments you have to be a little bit smart, jumping to dodge attacks and things like that. But I can't really say compare. I saw people comparing it to Hollow Knight Silk Song. And but then I was reading up about it, and from what I could see, this game is quite a bit easier than Hollow Knight. And I just got done telling you how I died so many times, so I might not be the best Metroidvania type of player to judge the level of combat. But for me, it felt like a right balance. Enemies went down as expected, but it wasn't it wasn't anything crazy advanced. Kind of just so far a little bit of button mashing just to take them out, but I'm sure it'll be more in depth later.
I'm on the same boat. I think the combat, I can kind of see where the complaints are coming from. It is simplistic, like Dave just stated. It's a 3-button combo as of right now. I've unlocked, in typical Metroidvania fashion, 2 things to help you explore, and you can utilize them in combat, kind of. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. You have to be smart, though. You got to be paying attention to boss patterns and stuff, and enemy patterns. But again, it's not like, again, we kind of akin it to a Souls-like. It's Souls-like light in the sense, you know what I mean? Like, it's not hard boss patterns, and they are pretty forgiving, and the hitboxes are they make sense. It's not like you don't feel cheated when you do die. It's kind of mostly your fault. So, yeah, I mean, I could see the issue, but I mean, again, I'm also not an expert in these games. As I say, it's been a while since I played them. So, from what I'm saying, as Dave stated, I stand by him. I believe it serves the purpose. I think everything else is really, really good. As when I was explaining it, I didn't really bring up combat, but I mean, exploration, the vibe, the art, the enemies. I think the enemies are really cool too. You get different variety of them. Yeah, like I said, but yeah, it's not like a combat heavy showcase by any means.
Yeah, and I think the what is it sitting at right now, 83 or 84, and I thought that was fair. Like, it's not like a mind-blowing game. Like, if there was other stuff to play, other new games dropping, this one wouldn't pull me in. But right now, where there's this gap, and I'm looking at the calendar right now, and we got a couple weeks still. Dragon Quest is coming. That co-op game Reanimal, I'm gonna try with the wife, will be coming. And then I'll probably hit up a little bit of Battlefield Season 2, and then we get ready for Resident Evil after that. So it's a nice little game just to fit in that early window, get a little taste of something new to try, get some achievements, and just bide our time for some of the big stuff coming up next.
No, for sure. And Nick, did that kind of answer what you were looking for before we move on?
100%.
Okay. Well, let's save, we kind of jumped into meal a little bit. We'll save a full thing. We'll let Nick get some hands on it, and we'll hit that in our main episode. But boys, let's get started. Why we all came here. I'm going to make an executive decision, actually. We're going to start how the showcase started. I don't know if you guys watched it from beginning to end, but they kind of had that splash screen at the beginning with the 25 years of Xbox. And anyone that watched our reaction episode, that even got me a little more excited. I'm like, okay, 25 years to make it a big deal. We're going to get something nice for that shadow dropped game, right? And we'll touch on that in a second. I wouldn't say it's a shadow drop because it's not releasing right now, but it was a surprise release. overall, the first game they showed was Forza Horizon 6. That would be Mr. Chip Crispy's one of his top picks for this year. So I'd love to hear from you first, Nick. How did you feel about Forza? Take the floor.
So I'm extremely glad that I got this on my list. Watching that showcase, there was a lot of different aspects that I think that people that are diehard Forza fans are stoked about, and someone that is not into racing games, I'm excited about it. 550 cars on drop, which seems like a lot right off the bat to get into. We played the Need for Speeds, the other racing games. It felt like you had a selection of 12 to 20 cars. 550 sounds crazy. I liked a lot how it the game system works, right? There's a progression system. You earn the wristbands as you go through, basically like leveling up. You got to prove yourself to get to the next level, and then you ultimately unlock different parts of the map, it seems like. So I think that'll be really interesting. I think that for me, there's an objective, whereas a lot of the racing games, like the objectives to win the race, and that gets very repetitive. So I think like an overarching objective is pretty cool, besides just kind of like I don't know. I felt like a lot of racing games I played were very like base level stories. It's just kind of like a Tokyo Drift story where you're trying to win some car and there's some evil doer that has a nice car. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for it. But you look at the whole map, you look at the graphics. I mean, this game company has obviously created a breathtaking map when you look at it. You got all different types of aspects that happen in the environment. The cherry blossoms kick up. They obviously went extremely far with the audio, and they showcase that. The audio changes from the environment you're in. You go through tunnels. And it being in Japan, and Dave touched on this and they kind of showcased it, but there's like, you get almost like every season depending on what part of Japan you're in. So like what a great place for a racing game where you're in the northern Japan, you're going through the snow trenches that they showed, or you're down south and it's a forest. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I got it on the picks. I think the base building aspect, that's something that's pretty cool. And just heavily leaning, into an open world game. I think that's where racing games, I can enjoy that. I like to be able to go on the track or just go wherever I want to go into the world. I don't like being kind of roadblocked to the road only to get from point A to point B. I saw some off-road action happening there. So, and the audio soundtrack, I wish they would have showcased it a little bit more. But I'm sure if they went this far with the graphics, the audio, with the different world events you can do, base building, the audio track's going to be a banger. And I think it'll be something that not only could you kind of get competitive and have fun with, but probably also just a chill game if you just want to like space out on a Saturday night for an hour and rip around the mountains of Japan. You could do it. So I think it's going to be major points. I'm excited.
You put it beautifully, man. I gotta say, it's hard for me to add anything else to that. I mean, going on to the soundtrack right away, like it would be awesome. They did say they had Japanese artists in there. If there's some like anime intros, and we hit one of those time tracks together, and it kicks right into like a Bleach intro, it's gonna be insanity.
I'll be squeezing the controller.
Doing the typical anime reaction, but it kind of ties into my next point. The co-op, they said it's even easier to play together, and you're rewarded for playing together, so we could all hop in and do like a trios or quads or however they do it. Like I said, it'd be my first time really diving deep into a Forza game, which to you made a great point about it is I mean, it makes me really excited to play it. But like playing together, that's jumping right into it and being able to, like you stated, like we all just hop in right after work and we're just driving around in Japan and doing these races. And again, if they like anime songs come in, the one thing I could tell, like that's why I really love these developer directs. Those guys are super passionate about Forza, like flying their team out there, getting like the landscapes the way they did when they showed like that field of sunflowers. To your point, the cherry blossoms and the cars hitting them and they're flying up. It's just really cool. Again, I think you nailed a lot of good points. And I think, like you said, you have a huge stack of points coming your way when this thing releases in May. So the good thing is our leaks were right. You know,
Mm-hmm.
18th. So it looks like early access will be May 15th. But Dave, you got anything to add on to that?
Um, well, I had a interesting just I was on YouTube earlier and there was I wish I saw somebody put a poll out, with the four options of which game are you most excited about from the direct. And just being funny, I clicked on Kiln, but and that was 2% of votes. But I fully expected Fable to have the most votes. But out of this survey, Forza had a higher, it's pretty close. I think it was like, high 40, and then Fable was like mid 40% of the votes. But still, I was surprised because for all of us, it's not something that we are you know getting super excited for, especially with from the previous games. And I look at the racing games as when you have something out there like Grand Theft Auto, they're showing off how you can like customize your garage and keep your cars in there. All I could picture was my high-rise apartment in GTA with all my cars in there and like just
Mm-hmm.
that's what stops me is like when what if somebody said, "Do you want to play Grand Theft Auto, but all you can do is drive around?" And it's like, well, it could be so much more. But I do understand that people just love going a little bit deeper, customizing the cars, and so I'm happy for people that are big fans of this series, and I think it's going to pull us in this year. There's going to be, from the looks of it, a bit of a gap in May. I know we got 007 First Light will drop about a week after Forza. So that week that it's out, I could see us getting in there, doing a few races, especially with it being on Game Pass. It's an easy download, and I'm down to try it out with you guys. And we can, we can bring a full report for being non-racing gamers, trying out our first. What a title to jump into
Yeah.
this late this late in the franchise. But it's like we said, Japan, the location. I thought the auto drive feature was interesting. I don't know if that's kind of a nod to like the self-driving car, huge looming future that's in front of us. All cars might have that feature soon enough. But it is nice because there was a game I tried in the past called The Crew. I don't know if you guys were familiar
Oh
with
yeah.
that, but you had the whole map of the United States to play with. So you could drive from Florida to Chicago, and obviously it's condensed. Like it wouldn't take 13 hours like it would in real life. It would maybe take 20 minutes or something. And it's a cool idea, but that stuff starts to get old. If you're like, oh, I got to drive all the way back up here. And I could see that in Japan when you're going from Tokyo to Mount Fuji. And if you're going back and forth for different missions or things like that, different races, it'd be nice to just hit that button, do the self-drive. You got to text somebody back while you're gaming. It is kind of a nice feature they threw in there. So a lot of good things. And I think it'll pull us in.
No, absolutely. And the last thing I'll say is, and I think we all agree on this, absolutely beautiful game. It looked so damn good. The cars look fantastic. So it's hard not to be drawn into it. So I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, it's on Game Pass. I'll probably fire up the old the little boy, the Series S, and it runs terribly compared to you guys with your X's, but it'll still be fun to hop in and play with you guys. All right, boys. Well, Forza's coming. Stan, your points are coming as well, but I guess with 007, you only have a weak lead on Dave, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will.
No, I'm excited. I think 007 will be good, but that's for a different time. So the next game that was shown, and if anyone that watched our predictions video, I wasn't too hot on it, but I will say, and I'll kind of jump in first on this one. Beast of Reincarnation. I thought this looked so cool. I thought the female protagonist, she looked cool, like really great design on her. The dog, I think his name was Wu, if I remember correct. Don't have it in front of me. What is it? Fu?
Coo.
Coo. I was like, sorry.
You're so close.
I know. I was gonna go every letter of the alphabet, so you gave me a nod. So it's Boo. Got it. No. But like, and then because when you first see it, I'm like, oh, is this just like Phantom Blade Zero again? We already kind of have a game like that coming out this year, but then they add that little twist with like the plant-based powers. It's like it connected to her hair, so almost like an Avatar vibe. Avatar being the James Cameron movies, not the Airbender, but I guess also using the Earth-like abilities. I guess it could be both avatars. Another thing I thought was really cool was I don't know if you guys saw it, like the freeze, and it kind of gave like Expedition 33 vibes, where you pause and put these combos and parries together. So I went in there not really caring about it, and I gotta say it's one of the top games I'm now looking forward to, and I will definitely be jumping in. I think it's a nice moment for Game Freak. They're so used to the Pokemon, and I think this is kind of similar when I'm sorry, kind of got a little tied up there. I just think it's an awesome moment for Game Freak to kind of step away from the Pokemon and like take off the kid gloves and be able to make something without those constraints. And the game looked great. I thought it looked really good too. It was a looker. The combat looked really fun. It felt like it was a little bit more like, to your point, Nick, when you read some of the descriptions, it kind of had the Wukong feel to it as well. So I mean, you mix those with some expedition and some tactical combat, a skill tree. It just looked really cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to jumping in and trying something from Game Freak that's not Pokemon and horrible frames and all the other stuff that comes with those games that come out now. They could just go back to 2D and back to that beautiful art, and I think we'd all be happy. But let's see what Game Freak has, and I'll pass it to you, Nick. You were kind of, as soon as you read the description about it, started getting amped up. Did seeing it in the showcase today kind of, I keep calling it a showcase, the developer direct, did that kind of get you a little more excited for it?
Yeah, 100%. I love when any developer steps out of their comfort zone, except for Bethesda. I think that Game Freak is going to do it so well, because you could just see, like you were talking about, the passion on these guys being like, look, we've done Pokemon for so long, right? And that's really been a very one-track mindset, one-track game. It's the same type of thing. The only thing you're going to be able to add to that is what they have added, right? You add a little bit of you go 3D, okay, you add more Pokemon. I mean, but you don't really get to change too much. Like, these guys,
well, you're churning them out annually too, so you're not really letting them cook. It's almost like the same Call of Duty fatigue that we've touched on before. Not to cut you off, but I feel like
100%.
You're right.
Yeah, 100%. And these guys are probably like, please let me make something else. And here it is, dude. I could tell you, when you mentioned it on our last episode, I got excited about it. And then when I saw the gameplay, I saw the story, I saw the skill trees, it 100% reminded me of Expedition 33 with the stops. And I'm excited for it, man. I really am. I think it looks great. I think it's going to be probably a really fun gameplay loop. I like how you get to kind of work off of your companion as well. It's not just like so many games, I think, where you have a companion fail to like really utilize that, right? Not only is it a story piece, which is what most games I think do, they really lean into the story aspect of it, but now you can do kind of combos with with the companion, right? And it's not like it's a Dragon Age Origins or a game where it's like you're truly controlling the companion, but it's kind of this part of the game that's or part of the gameplay that's off to your side. But if you can work it really well, it's super integrated. I'm interested to see how the story loop goes with Ku. If they kill the dog off, I'm deleting the game. I can tell you that now. And I foresee some shady shit happening. But no, dude, I'm excited. The boss fights, just from what we saw, looked really cool. I liked kind of it did remind me of like Wukong, almost like a Dark Souls type boss fight where, you know, it looks like you're gonna have to really dodge, parry at the right time. And I think it's gonna I'm glad they stepped out of their comfort zone and are making something that's just completely different from Pokemon and has the potential to be really good. I mean, if I knew this going into the draft, I would have picked this up.
Yeah, I could tell that from when you read the description, and I had a feeling when you saw that show, the direct, you would feel the same exact way about it. I think you touched on it great. If Ku does die, it'll be a big problem. I
Yeah.
will become the John Wick of that world and just attack everything and make them all pay. Dave, how are you feeling after seeing it?
Yeah, I just switched tabs over to our fantasy league, and nobody picked up this game, did we?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's gonna be some points just out there because I think it looks great, and I think the story behind it is so interesting. It's two things that a lot of people are talking about as possible futures for humanity right now. You know, I think it's what, like 2,000 years into the future is what they showed.
Yeah, it was like fourth that year, right? It's like 4026 or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it's interesting. You see, Mother Earth is fighting back to to get rid of us, basically get rid of humans. So some strange mutation is developed that takes out humans, and then um, what's a huge topic to everyone else right now is the singularity. People uploading their consciousness or how they said it in the video was putting their souls into these machines to try to preserve themselves. But then you see that just goes wrong, and now it's like these mindless robots that are just left wandering around. And I just thought that, to me, that's such a cool idea. I want to dive into that world a little bit and see what more they have to show us. You know, with like, are we going to see cutscenes from like the fall of humanity? Um, you know, are you going to come across a robot that still has a conscious soul in there, and you know they're asking you for help or asking you to put them out of its misery? So I think it's such a cool idea. The combat looked great, and yeah, I think I talked about that on a previous episode. I always love a game with a companion. Even in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you could tame the grizzly bears and stuff, have them fight alongside you. And
Mhm.
this takes it a step further, where you can keep upgrading the dog. It looks like, and so I'm excited. Definitely going to be playing this one, putting some hours in for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up those robots. Excuse me, calling them the golems as like their faction is such a cool name. And yeah, I thought they had a cool aesthetic to them too, kind of like
Yeah.
that skeletal. I don't know if you guys ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! They kind of had like the ancient gear golem looks to them, where it's like they're all kind of rusted out. And
Mhm.
I do love the idea that they did integrate, and then they said they went in, like, I guess they lost themselves and went insane and went feral, almost kind of like a Fallout vibe with ghouls.
Mhm.
So I think it'll, like you said, and then I love. I want to touch on one more thing. I guess when the skill, if I heard the guy correctly, was that as you play the way you play, Ku is built up off of that. So if you're more of a range player, he builds himself up as a range, like, so whatever your style is, it's like builds up in the support and like learns off of you, which I think is probably a kudos to their Pokemon aspect of always
Mm.
having the monster companions. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think we're in for a treat. And you're right, David. It is kind of sad that none of us picked it up, and I just
Yeah.
kept going for wild swings, and I'll be regretting that at the end of the year when I have a couple of zeros because they didn't release, and that game probably has a solid 85. But That's the name of the game, boys, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the third game and the secret game that showed, is it Klern? How do you? I didn't hear when they
Kiln.
said it. Kiln.
Yeah.
Kiln.
Okay. This is not for me. This is not singing to any of my sensibilities. I think obviously they probably do have a gold mine on their hands because I think kids will love it. You get to make your little pottery guys and they all battle and you can make them all different kinds of things. So I could see the appeal to it. It does nothing for me. I will say I feel like they didn't waste time. I think they put way too much time into it. It felt like that was the main event. I was like, are we still doing this? Again, the one thing I will say, every person that was developing this game had big smiles on their face. They seemed super passionate about it. They were excited about it. So I can't fault them too much for it. It's just for me, and I brought it up when I said the backdrop with the 25 years. We also overhyped ourselves and we should have known better because Bethesda always loves to hurt us. We should have known there wasn't going to be a double shadow drop, let alone one shadow drop. But I feel like even though we've seen them, I would have preferred this to be like Gears or Halo, just because if you preface that 25 years, again, they didn't say we're celebrating the 25 years of Xbox. It's like in the spirit of that, here are these developers showing new games. So again, maybe I was just hoping for more, but realistically, I'm kind of like, I wanted to see Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix, not Tim Schafer molding pots. But again, Double Fine is their thing. They're kind of known for these quirky, crazy games. Looking at it, I watched it back just to give it its fair shake. I could see where the loop will be, and I can see people liking this. But like I said, it's just, I don't want to bash on it too much. It's just not for me. And I kind of, in my own fault, built myself up too much to get too excited for that secret spot. And I think that's kind of why I was so sour on it. Like I scoffed immediately and I was like, what is this? But again, it wasn't tailored to me, and that's games, right? When we did our draft, you picked up Karn, not, again, I keep bashing you because it was my counter pick, but again, it's not really for us. Mixtape, maybe for Dave, we'll see, especially when he loses, has to do a full review for us. But and again, one game, no, I think I picked most games I'll play. I think I would, right? Just kidding, I'm messing with you guys. Like Tokon, Fighting Souls, I'm not really a fighting guy, but you know what I mean. So there's something out there for everyone. I think this is a prime example of it. And again, we do want people to make what they want to make. And I guess these guys, like I said, they were super excited, all geared, jazzed up to have some pots fighting each other. And again, I'm kind of going on and on, but I'll pass it on to you guys in a second. But I can see it. Like you can make your own pot character and put stickers on it. Like, for a kid, I feel like Jackson might even get a kick out of it, So Dave, how did you feel about Kern? I keep saying it wrong. I'm gonna get crushed on the comments.
It's I think you hit it perfectly. It's there's an audience for it. Just as I was just telling you guys how I was surprised on that survey that I scrolled past on YouTube, where more people wanted to play Forza than Fable. Just based off one little survey. But I was kind of disappointed. It's the Xbox Direct. I wanted to, like you said, I wanted to see some of those big titles, but maybe there'll be another. Have they announced any other, like a future showcase, maybe closer to summer or something like that, where they'll probably dive into Halo and Gears, or I don't know. But
they haven't announced it, but if memory serves me right, every year for Summer Games Fest, Xbox usually does a good thing and kind of shows up a little bit. So I'm probably, to your point, you're probably right. That's probably where they'll do another deep dive into Fable, Xbox, and then Forza will already be out by that point. So then Gears, Halo, and whatever else hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, maybe that's where they'll really give us a definite release date for Fable as well. Show some more stuff off, drop the release date, and then but we'll see. Well, yeah, definitely not. I won't think about that. Well, hopefully, I won't think about that game anymore after we complete this episode. But don't want to roast something or just because it's not for me. You know, they seem like good people that are working really hard on something. So, and for what they were trying to make, I mean, I think they made the best pottery game possible. To be honest with you, when I see all these, like the creativity behind it, all the different attacks you can do, and the small pot can sneak through the tunnel and things like that. But hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe we're all gonna stay up till 2 a.m. playing it when it comes out. Who knows?
All right, so I'm gonna be real. I think you guys are being too soft with this. All right. And here's my thought.
I knew it was coming. I saw his face when I started being all positive. He was like, okay. Okay.
Here's the thing, man. Is there an audience for it? Sure. And as you alluded to, my son would love it. He's 6 years old. Is he watching the developer direct? No. Was
Yeah.
that the right time to take 20 minutes of this showcase and show us this dude, whatever his name was, with a big cheese and smile making a pot, and then we go into a game about you making your own pot character? I mean, dude, it's like I couldn't believe my eyes when I was watching it. Like, I'm gonna end up getting it for my son, and he's gonna love it. But it's like there's too many big hitters on the horizon to take this time and throw that in there, dude. I couldn't wait for it to end to see what was coming after it. And the time chunk it took up, I'm thinking, dude, what else could they have talked about? Things that we're more passionate about. Like, if your thing is making pottery and you're also an avid gamer, then I'm happy that this game is being created for you. But most people I know that make pots, and I know none of them, is I don't see them playing games that often. They're typically, you know what? I see what they were trying to do, but I really think that this is a game that's going to be aimed towards, like, my son. He's 6. He's going to love that game. He's going to love it. But you don't.
Or
Yeah, he might pick up the
he's gonna
controller
be
and
like, let's play
scoff at
Lego
it.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he's gonna get it and Nick's gonna play it and he's gonna love it and refuse to tell us the truth, his truth.
I will honestly.
Jackson's gonna be like, "Come on, Dad, let's start the game," and he's gonna be over there customizing his pot for 20 minutes.
He's gonna have like the prestige pot with like the golden vase and everything.
He's sending y'all screenshots of it. Y'all like this build? No, dude. So I
went with the heavy build.
And the funny thing is I most likely will download this and play this because I will get it for my son. And when I do that, I will give an honest review. Regardless, though, I just don't think that was the right time for that. I mean, I think all you did was agitate most of the viewers because there's too many good things coming out. I would have loved if they would have taken that time frame for a lesser known game that's still coming out on Xbox this year that has some excitement around it, right? It felt like it was really out of place with those 3 other games. It truly did. I was just like, almost couldn't believe that that's what I was watching for the developer direct. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? It really was. It threw me through a loop. I was not expecting to see this game. I would have much rather watched
left field.
Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, excuse me, in Unreal Engine 5. I would have loved to see that for 20 minutes.
And Bethesda knew you would love it, so they said no. And they were like, you know what? Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to not do that. And we're going to put a countdown on the show. And then when that countdown ends, it's just going to be a gigantic middle finger that comes out of the nuke smoke.
Just the Pit Boy guy giving you the finger and then disappears.
Yeah.
You're like, and it has the Elder Scrolls release date for like 2035. You're like, why? That's not even the same IP.
It's just an announcement for 50% off the atoms in the Fallout 76 store.
That's exactly what it's going to be, or a new expansion for 76. It's
Which
like,
I will
we
get.
know that it's like, it's going to have like the Fallout 3 and then New Vegas, and then it's going to fuse together and be like 76, Vegas and DC. Like, no, it's not what we want.
You guys are so close.
It's like, well, do we get the whole area? They're like, no. You get one mission in Vegas, one mission in DC, and that's it.
Yeah, you got to be level 200 to access it.
Or the cheap price of $150.
Yeah, you can jump right in.
Oh, Bethesda, how you hurt us and you love doing it. So the last game that was shown, the big one, the one I was so excited for, I made sure it was one of my fantasy picks. And Dave, I'm coming at you next. Don't worry. But Nick, I want you to start. This was Fable was part of your GOAT list, and then you'll let Dave and I battle to the bitter end afterwards. But I really want to know, being the Fable guy, I think we're all Fable guys in a certain way when we had that discussion. But this one being your GOAT, I know how much this game meant to you. Kind of talk to me about everything you saw, how you felt, pros, cons, how you're feeling about their autumn release date and all that, and yeah.
So I will say, I do worry about it being pushed. That is a worry, just because of we saw a lot, but I did feel like I wanted to see a little bit more. However, what I did see, I was really excited about. I talked about the character customization. Now, they didn't go full Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout, etc. That's fine, as long as you kind of get to have a character,
make a guy, make a character, whatever it looks like. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm happy with that. One of my worries, and I'm just gonna go through each thing here, and I'm not just gonna do all pros and all cons. One of my worries with that though was when they said you could pick your armor, or like how your outfit. I'm hoping that's like a cosmetic thing, which I'm sure it will be, and you can get armor pieces and different things like that. But that was kind of a worry of mine, because you had a guy that was like, it almost looked like armor sets. Like one dude was like in male armor.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, now do I think that they will not have armor in there? Of course not. But that's something for me that has to be a part of it. You want to get the loot. You want to be able to make those things.
Well, you want to see the gear you get. That's always my big thing in RPGs. Like,
100%.
I want to see the gear that I've got for you. That's always like hard for me. Like Dragon Quest, that's the one thing. The weapons change, but their outfits don't, unless you get like an outfit or something. So I totally get that.
Like even in Fallout, for example, you might have mismatched armor. Well, that's fine. It may look stupid for a while, but then when you get that full set of like really cool gear, you get to sport it and own it. So I'm just hoping that like they really kind of have that as like maybe an underlying thing. It just seemed weird that you could initially start out your character with like a full set of male armor. Now the combat looked great. I thought it looked really cool. You had the will, you had different weapons. I really liked how some of the fighting scenes went, where it was kind of, you would fight, you could use will. It looked really fluid. It looked really cool. The abilities you got to see were really cool. They brought back a lot of the enemies that I was excited to see. You got the Hobbs, the Balverines, right? They talked about getting those back in there. You had the floating dude with the lantern that you hit with the arrow. That was really cool. I like, and they're right? They talked about in Fable this game within a game. And it's true. Fable is a game within a game. It's always been. You can always do these just outlandish things in it. I thought that being able to like own your business sounds pretty cool. I've always liked that about Fable, just being able to do whatever you want to do in the game while also being this like hero of legend. It's just like this really cool mix. Bunch of different player houses. I'm a big fan in games of like player houses. I think with a single player game, it really helps immersion for me. I hope in the player house they do things that's like maybe you can come back and you get certain buffs. I love when they do that in games. Like it gives you a reason to like actually go to the player house. You can get a couple buffs, save the game, or things like that to make you actually want to get back to that area instead of just like buying it and it being like a map marker on the map.
You got to get back to your kids.
Yeah, exactly. What else was there? So they had the fame system. Kind of, I like it, but I am curious to see how that evolves. Right? I see where they're going with it. Right? The other fables were very black and white, as they said. Right? You're evil. You're either evil or you're good. Right? Now, every action you do gives you basically, for lack of a better term, a title for what you are, right? And that title increases as it increases or decreases. You get renowned for that, and the NPCs react as such. So I like it. I just haven't ever played a game that was that in depth with the choices. So I'm excited to see it. I do worry that you can maybe get a little too far in the trenches with things like that. I don't want every little decision I'd make in the game being like a moral decision. But I see where they're going with it and I'm excited for it. We just talked
Let me
about
touch on.
go ahead.
One thing I wanted to touch on with that, I think what I did appreciate about them, well, I'm kind of two sides of it. I do miss the horns in Halo. Like, if your decisions kind of physically change you, kind of adds that mysticalism, and I don't think that's in there. But I do appreciate that your choices, people react to them differently. So it's like, usually in a game, like, in Oblivion or Skyrim, you walk by and they like make a comment about things you've kind of done, but everyone's comments are usually the same. But I like the idea of like, this person might think what you did was really heroic, but this other person, like 2 towns away, thinks you're a scumbag. So it's like you get like different reactions based off one of your decisions. And that part I really liked from what I saw. And then that each individual NPC is voiced fully and has like a reaction to you, to those titles. But yeah, I just, I agree with you. It seems, but what I do fear is what you're probably worried about is every decision is going to kind of be like that. It seemed like right when you kicked the chicken or when you bought a house and having some money, which, adds to that. What's the word I'm looking for? That, I don't know, adds to being in that game, being in that world.
Yeah. Yeah, and so and another thing with the NPCs that I do think that's really cool, but we've talked about this before. Now I'm a huge Fable fan, so I will play the heck out of this game, but I don't want to get the burnout syndrome either. If every NPC is someone you could talk to, someone that reacts to you, I don't want to have a quest from every NPC as well. You know what I mean? Because that will sometimes turn a very good game into a very drawn out game, especially for me with that game. I think the other Fables did a really good job of like being a great length in a really fleshed out game, but really also like you could pick up side quests, you could do these things, but it wasn't overwhelming. So I think it'll be good. From what I saw with the interactions, a lot of them didn't seem like they were trying to give you a quest right off the bat. I do like they brought the blacksmithing and all that stuff back from Fable 3 because I really enjoyed those little side hustles to make some money, especially starting out. But I think it's going to be cool. It's starting off like the other Fables in true fashion, it's made by developers who love Fable. So they talked to people that played Fable and saw what they loved about it, what their most memorable moments. So it seems like they're really trying to do a homage to the trilogy, and coming from a place of that, I'm really excited about. That was my biggest concerns when we talked about the draft, that them not doing that and them trying to branch off and go their own route like we've seen other developers or the same developer do with a game franchise that was already successful for the things that people liked about it.
No, and I think that fear went away almost immediately. I felt like in the opening because he immediately shouted out that studio, Lionhead Studios, and he's like gives them their flowers, and we're making our own thing and adding a little more to it, but it keeps that soul of what Fable is. And I think I felt like I saw that throughout the entire showcase of it. And I will kind of talk a little bit more on how I felt about it, but Dave, you gotta take the reins from here and I'll round us out.
Yeah, so you had brought up the halo on your head or the devil horns, and the direct I was watching, I didn't realize it at the time, but I clicked on IGN's stream. So directly after the Xbox Direct, a bunch of the employees that work for IGN were doing a live reaction, and Ryan McCaffrey was on there talking about. He did an interview that which I actually want to go watch, probably maybe tonight before bed or something. He interviewed one of the developers and was asking some of those questions, and he confirmed like there won't be any changes to your form, like you won't get a halo on top of your head and stuff like that, which would have been a nice feature, but it's cosmetic. It doesn't change the way the game feels or plays. So it's like, well, okay, we can go without that. But it was something. It was just fun from the old games, because back when we were kids and we had all the time in the world, obviously you beat the game once on going one path, and then you replay going down the other path. But and then something else that stood out to me from what he was saying was talking about the map size and how it is a large map that you have to play with, but they're more so focused on the density of it. So instead of having these big open fields and things like we've I think we've all talked quite a bit about the Ubisoft RPGs and how it just feels like you're just going through this checklist. Like, okay, I got to go here, find this, and then you're just doing those things over and over and over. What they specifically talked about was they don't want it to feel like that, where you're just checking boxes to complete the map. They said, every area is unique, and every town is unique. So in one town, if you could be the hero and celebrate it, but then maybe you have some small town somewhere where you just want to be malicious and kind of take control of those people. Like you could be the you could be the villain, and somebody, if they unless these characters go have a job in that town, like nobody knows who you are, so you can kind of start fresh. And maybe get a look. I'm curious how that will play out though, like in your like you said, earning the titles. Like if you're this tycoon in one town where you own all the properties, but then there's another town you just go to hang out. I don't know if it's a complete fresh start or not, but it kind of sounded like it could be. What else did I have on that? I agree with you, what you were saying, Nick, about feeling like you got to stop and talk to everybody. That we'll see how that plays out with over 1,000 NPCs. I could see that getting tedious. We've talked about Pokemon previously, where it's like, you want to go in every house and talk to everybody because there might be some item that could change your game, or for a game like Fable, it's like, is this person gonna give me a new weapon that could really help me out? So you kind of, I worry about feeling overwhelmed, like if you want to stop and talk to everybody. So hopefully they kind of give some guardrails, or some kind of, like, you start to realize, like, is this guy just begging on the street? Like, is he important or not? Or can I just like keep walking past him and go talk to somebody else? So we'll have to see about that. But overall, I thought like I'm very very excited for it. I wanted to just touch on some of those first. I wouldn't even call them negatives, but just questions we might have. But as far as the positives, I mean, there were so many, and we see at Playground Games they've been making these beautiful racing games for all these years, and now you see how they put that into this RPG where the world, looked incredible as well. It didn't look boring at all. And touching on what I said earlier, just the density of it, like it doesn't seem like you're going to be just riding your horse for miles to get to the next town. Like it seems like there will be a lot to do along the way. But that's, I mean, and that's Fable. Like you could sit there and be a blacksmith for 2 hours and then you're like, oh shit, I got to go to bed. And you haven't even touched any missions. It's however
But
you
you got
want to.
so much gold.
Right. So the next time you hop on, you're set. But
Then you spend the whole next game buying houses. They'll still don't play the game.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we want from a Fable, though. It's you want to go fight enemies, or you want to go raise your kids while your real kids are upstairs wondering where their dad is. It's just so fun in that way. Like getting married, and then you can get divorced and kick your whole family out on the street and just do these fun little things. I'm very, very excited. The combat looked smooth and great. And, I don't want to repeat any of the things you guys touched on. I think you both had great points, but they definitely do all seem like fans of Fable. I think they definitely talked about that. They built a team from the ground up. I wonder how the interview process was, if people had to like spit their Fable history and knowledge to be part of the team, but it seemed like everyone was passionate about it. So I think we're definitely in for a treat.
Yeah, it was so I'll round it out here, Dave. I think if this does come out this year, I think that points are gonna hurt you. Don't worry.
Oh,
But I'm gonna start.
I could close that because yes, if it drops in the fall, I'm screwed. If it's, I see it as I picked up GTA, which should be a high score for me. It basically would cancel out. Like
Right.
I'm gonna lose the points you get for Fable, and I'll get the points for GTA, and I think they'll end up being in a similar range. So we'll see if I get plus or minus a couple of points. If you think about those two games basically canceling each other out at this point.
I would be ecstatic if it's in the same realm as GTA at the end of the year with score wise. That'll be, success, unless GTA completely flops and we're all just sad because two major games that we're really excited for fail. But I doubt that. And I'll start from the beginning when I saw, like, when it first opened up, and I was a little concerned, I'll be honest, because I was like, this is a lot of talking and showing the people and showing where they live and like the town they work in. And I'm like, all right, let's get to the game. One thing I did notice, I don't know if you guys jumped on that, was the frame rate that they had was so choppy.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, not to bash them too hard, but very PowerPointy. So, but again, like I've heard before, and that's kind of the last thing they optimized, and maybe they didn't want to spend time like doing another slice of life and spend all that time in it. So
not to cut you off, but that was one of the major things why I said I hope it doesn't get pushed. But when I noticed that too, it just seemed like it was kind of half baked. You know what I mean?
And that's where I'm like, part of me was concerned, but then thinking they basically have 9 months before they have to put the game gold,
Mm-hmm.
And I think if by May, once Forza's out, then you got an extra couple months of the entire team pumping every ounce of resources in. And from everything we saw, everything seems done, except it just needs to be fully optimized. And I will definitely be playing this on my PS5 just because I want to get the most out of it. PS5 is a lot stronger than that Series S. So, but to touch on your point, I thought the combat looked really cool. I thought the magic looked cool. I hope that's just the beginning parts of magic. I hope that they level up and they get cooler spells. Like the fire seemed cool, but I want a little bit more oomph, especially with it being a Fable. I did appreciate that the enemies could hit each other. I don't know if you noticed that when the Hobbs were swinging their hammers, they were smacking each other by mistake, which is just funny because they're goofy enemies, always have been. To Dave's point, you could see that the world was very robust, and you had a horse, and you could probably ride to these towns. And but the one thing I'll push back on both of you that I kind of disagree with, I think, because there's one word they said, and we kind of complain on Bethesda on it. They said everything was handcrafted. So yes, you might have 1,000 NPCs to talk to and have these experiences with, but these are handcrafted experiences and you guys have put that much thought into them, then I kind of welcome that. What I hate is talking to everyone and it's very surface level. You don't really get anything out of it. So you got named characters with personalities and lives and they have stuff. And it's like and the best part about it is, even though we'll be all excited about it, we'll all probably do different things. So when we hop on each week and we're talking, it'll be like, I talked to John up in the North Mountains and this guy, and we did a whole story with this guy that you guys haven't even touched. And then if you go try to find him and it's totally different for you, like that's where, if they, like with the AI and the voice acting they use, maybe that's where I feel like that's a little bit more welcomed than, to your point, Ubisoft vomit of map icons and kind of surface level stuff that you kind of get from them. They have their place. Checklists are fun, but what I got me excited was them saying that thing and that saying that key word there, handcrafted environments, handcrafted experiences. Them touching on like not only do your decisions affect you and give you these titles, but affect the world around you with giving the example of fighting that giant. And if you kill him, his corpse lays there for the rest of the game. I think that's just so cool. Like you kind of have a visual representation of what you're doing. But again, like my only concerns, and again, it would kill me in points, but if they need the time, if they don't feel like they're ready when fall comes around, push to February. Get out of the way of GTA. Because to my point is, it's been 16 years. If once we get to October this year, that Fable 3 came out, 16 years. And one thing that, Dave, that you stated too, that they're all very passionate about this. They said it's a passion project. If Fable fails because we didn't let it cook enough or it gets completely overtaken in the shadow of GTA for whatever reason it may be, there's not going to be another one. I want more than anything, more than our fantasy draft, more than anything, I want Fable to come out and just blow us away. And and everything I saw there has the capabilities. I thought like I said, the enemies look cool, but there was so much more talking and different things happening in that trailer than every other trailer. Like we were making fun of the pottery game, but it was 90% gameplay, and Beast of Reincarnation, same thing. Forza, same thing. Fable is the one that had I would probably, if I went back and counted, probably 50 seconds in total of actual gameplay shown comparatively to about 15 minutes of talking. So again, I think it's, with it, maybe they didn't want to show that much because they haven't had a chance to fully optimize it. But they were confident at the end and they'd say autumn. So I would, if they release it on the 16th, 16 years since the last one came out and the 25th anniversary of Xbox here, I think the game they'll probably feed if they do want to continue this anniversary. I think Halo Campaign Evolved will be the one that's fed in November to release on the Halo anniversary date during the same time as GTA if GTA isn't pushed. That's the one I think is going to get, I don't want to say fed to the fire, but the one that'll get probably sent out just to see, so they still get something out in that area in that holiday break. But I think it'd be game suicide to release within weeks of a GTA. So if they're ready in October, maybe early September, because it's still technically autumn, and you feel good and it's gone gold and everything's optimized, please release that baby. But if you need time, I will take the 0. I will be the martyr. Hear me, Fable. Take your time. Because what I want more than anything is this to come out, it be absolutely successful, sell tons of copies, and then we get a Fable 2. That's the goal of all this, I think. So, but
it did seem that way. it seemed like it's not going to be just one and done. They want to do, a reboot of doing another trilogy, and maybe that's where we could see the Halo and Devil Horns and stuff come back. Maybe they were holding some features back for future games. Is a possibility.
And you know what? I'm glad actually you said that. The one last thing I do want to touch on before we wrap this thing up, I do love that they did the traditional, you start as a kid, experience a tragedy in the village like every Fable game, and then you go out on this crazy adventure. So, and Nick, I'm glad you brought up the character customization. That meant so much to me. I wanted to be able to make a character or have a preset female male character so you could choose what you want to do, what your hero is. It just helps with that immersion. And that was the word I was looking for earlier was immersion.
Yes.
And I think that goes with the armor sets. I think it goes with everything we touched on. And that's the best part about Fable. And the one scene I thought that was really cool, just graphically wise, was when he's in the house and all of his kids run by, and like you could have like multiple families in multiple different cities, just an absolute. And Dave made me laugh when he said, "Yeah, and kick your family out into the street." Just fun things like that. That's the quote. That's the quote of the whole podcast right there. But all right, boys, that kind of wraps up our Xbox Developer Direct of 2026. Our first kind of reaction video to it. Like we said, we were kind of disappointed with Karn, and we were kind of expecting something else, but Nick definitely did not hold back how he felt. Game Freak brought out a dark horse that we were not expecting coming this summer too. So, and that was the cool thing about all these games, all day one Game Pass, all day one PlayStation, except for Forza. And I guess we got to wait and see for Fable too, but I won't wait. That I'll play on Xbox if I got to wait. And then, and then, May is when Forza's dropping. So I think we're in for fun. It's going to be great. Boys, before we call it a day, I would like for you guys to give me a grade of how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel you would rate this showcase, this Developer Direct? Nick? With 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, sorry.
Yeah. I'll give it a solid 7. I mean, I think that out of the 3 games we saw, I was really excited for it. The Reincarnation was kind of a sleeper, which I really enjoy that when I hear just a little bit about a game and then I see a lot of it and get really excited for it. Of course, Kiln is really what brought the score down, and a 6 or a 7 too, because I wanted to see more of Fable than what we saw. But
Dave?
it wasn't bad,
Oh,
and
I'm
I was
sorry.
glad I watched it 100%.
Absolutely. Dave?
Yeah, the first number jumped in my head. I'll stick with. I was going to say about a 6 because the game I was most excited about was Fable, and like you touched on, it wasn't. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see the hero out there on more quests and see some more of like the actual the game. And it is cool to hear about the town and stuff like that, but. And then, we heard there's going to be a surprise 4th game, and everyone's getting all excited. And then we see people making clay pots, and it was just like, what a missed opportunity when you have, like you said right at the start of the show, Halo was missing, Gears of War was missing. And hey, real quick, before you give your rating, how do you guys think this is going to play out with release dates? Because I was trying to think. We don't know. Halo, Gears of War, or Fable are all supposed to come. Is it going to be Halo in August, Gears of War September? Like, how are they? Well, I guess it could do Halo in November, like you had said. They could, because that's not anything to. It's essentially a remake. So if they're gonna kind of lose one to the GTA shadow, it's like get Gears of War and Fable out early while people have time to play. Because I feel like Fable's got to hit at least September to give a couple months of playtime before GTA takes over.
What do you guys think? We're gonna get a rapid fire. I think we're gonna get Forza in May, and I think then you're probably looking June, July for Beast of Reincarnation, which I don't think counts in this. And then August will be Gears, October Fable, November Halo. That's what I'm thinking.
It's no matter what happens, it's a good year to be a gamer for sure. There's so much coming out.
I could back that up. My worry is with it being so saturated that something gets pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And
To your
maybe
point, I think
push for
Fable's
the
the
sake
most one
of
on the
dates.
chopping block.
Yeah, and maybe just push for the sake of dates. You know
But we
what I
haven't
mean?
seen much of Gears of War either.
That's what I'm
shocked.
saying. I would have hoped. I would think that Gears would be the first to get pushed, just because. Why not show anything? You
Right.
know, people are hyped up about that game. At least
It
talk
would
about it.
be, to your point, that would be actually this time next year a developer direct, and Gears maybe headlining that with some other games we haven't heard
Yeah.
about. But I think they're really, and it could be completely off on this, just it being the 25th anniversary. I think they really want a Gears, a Halo, a Fable, and a Forza all out this year.
I hope so.
I mean, I do too. I mean, I even get surprised that maybe Halo gets dropped in March. Maybe just
Could
a
be.
surprise. Maybe it's ready to go. Who knows? And then, or Gears. I don't. Again, we haven't heard that much for E-Day, so I doubt it. But
Yeah.
that's what makes gaming so much fun. Just guessing. And my rating for the showcase originally, and I thought about this for a little while since it happened. I'm gonna go with what Nick said, a 7. I'm a 7 out of 10 as well. And Dave, I think your rating's fair too, because I was leaning a little higher, but then I really started thinking about that Fable showcase. Again, not seeing as much as we wanted. I didn't like that. Yeah, you talked about the giant and like this, but why didn't you show us some of that fight with the giant? That would have been like a cool little showcase. I don't give all of it, but like a little couple snippets here and there. That battle that you hope is epic, that led to like him laying out in that field like that.
Because it seems
it
seems early game. So my thought was like, well, how do you take down this giant? It's when you're just kind of getting started in the story. Is he that easy? But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, absolutely. So in all, guys, I'm glad we all watched it. I'm excited about what comes this year. Again, with everything else, all the other third-party stuff, all the Xbox stuff, PlayStation, we still, they should be doing something relatively soon, and I'm excited what they'll show. I mean, I know that Saros and Wolverine will probably be the ones. Maybe not Saros again, because they've kind of shown a bunch of it, but I don't know, man. Again, boys, thank you guys for hopping on here tonight, giving us our thoughts, letting our audience know how we're feeling. Please, down in the comments, let us know how you guys are feeling, if our takes are completely off, and you want to, tell us how great Kern's going to be and that we were wrong about it.
You said the name wrong every time.
What is it? What is it again?
Kiln.
I think because you're focused on Karen.
You keep saying Karen. The game
I know. I think Kiln's actually going to outperform Karen. Honestly,
do.
So I think
Karen. These names are going to be the death of you.
I've got it wrong. I'm sorry. The pottery game where you put ghosts in the pots. I'm sorry. But everyone, again, please make sure you're liking, subscribing. It helps us. Please continue to comment. We want to keep engaging with y'all. We appreciate the kind words we're receiving. And again, keep grinding, keep gaming, and we'll see you guys very soon. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good night, boys.
Night.